guys said in your videos, being perfect, or being or being the best as far as explaining the concept or explaining how you should have answered. So to that end, I want to be able to also clarify anything that needs to be clarified, because this is not the time to be like, meh, sure, that works, and to not really have an understanding as to why. So the recorder is started. Real quick before we go into the FRQs and hopefully finish up the final questions that you guys have. I will not be solving any FRQs entirely today because you've already been able to see the answer keys to watch the videos on 2017 and to see the answer keys on 2013. I am zooming in on concepts or on problems or on directions or on scoring or on video explanations that we are confused at. But pause real quick. This is this week. We're done after today, right? Okay. Monday, in class, you're turning in class, not by the end of the day, in class, you're turning in your mock AP with all of its corrections, your additional practice with all of its attempted, graded, and then corrections. When you turn it in on Monday, I'm going to be giving you last year's FRQs. BC FRQs. Now, the BC FRQs, you've already seen 3 of them because you did 3 of them on the AB exam. Did all of you guys get 9 out of 9 on those 3? Yes. No, probably not. Anyway, so you're going to see the FRQs. We're just going to do 1 and 2 on Monday probably. I'm thinking 15 minutes for one. 15 minutes for one, and then we'll go over questions and grade it. 15 minutes on 2, go over questions and grade it. And as you guys are doing the 15 minutes, I'll be grading. Does that make sense? And then Tuesday, we'll do 3 and 4, maybe 3 and 4 and 5. And then Wednesday, we'll do 5 and 6, or maybe 6, and then keep going. Why am I going to zero in on FRQs next week? Because we've been doing a lot of questions on multiple choice this week. You guys have 3 optional exams in your folder. When's all the bonus due? The Monday before the AP. Any of the bonus exams. I'm also going to email, I'm also going to email out another bonus exam. I'm going to email out the mock AP from BC last. Optional. These are all optional bonus points. Last year specifically, and why am I emailing it? Because I can't post it online. Because it's of the new format. And the format's not really new. I mean, there are 30 questions and 15 questions instead of 28 and 17. Like, that's not a big deal. But what's the big deal? They are rewording the questions a little bit to get conceptually harder. Didn't we talk about the Riemann sum one? We have to use the definition of the integral to solve using the limit as n goes to infinity. They're getting conceptually deep. I don't think that the problems are getting harder, but they're making you dig deeper into the forever cards and the endeavor cards, making you apply your knowledge a little bit better or a little bit deeper. So anyway, I want to send out that as the 4th and final optional bonus exam. So if you guys are trying to pick and choose, maybe you want to do last year's because it's like the new way of, not the new way, but the newer way of testing or of writing questions, etc. But all that bonus is due next Monday. All right. For anybody who's in an AP on Monday and won't be here, I guess you could have me check your stuff today. After school, I'll probably be on the senior patio most of the time, but you could have me check it today, or you could just drop it off after school on Monday. So my psych people, my AP Chem people, if you're not going to be in here during class, I just need it Monday. Maybe before you go to your AP, but I don't want to stress you out. Like, I don't want to, you need to be thinking about Chem or Psych, and that's totally fine. Let Lucy know too, and let anyone else who's in those classes. But I need to have that graded Monday. And then, what's due on Thursday? When you see you think, and we'll go over any questions that you guys have. We already did a check on it, but it didn't have to be done. So on Thursday, we'll go ahead and go over the when you see you thinks, any questions, any clarifications, if you guys want to ask me like, hey, do you, in this section, I'm pretty bad at these, I don't know, like horizontal asymptotes, you watch out for exponentials. Like there are tricks to each and every one of the categories that AP likes to test on. We could go over some of that on Thursday. On Friday, the Forever Endeavor final. Are we okay on the calendar? What's going on in general? Okay. Katrina, question?
I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
For the part B, the calculator section.
Yes.
Like if you did corrections, but like the correction was just based on the calculator, how should you show that? Because like I corrected it all, but I didn't show where.
I mean, if there's something.
Like what if it's like a big mistake or something?
I mean, you could do a quick little like typed in wrong. You know what I mean? You could do a quick little like, oh, I should have used n derive. Like you don't have to actually type, like show me the whole what you typed into your calculator. Maybe you could just write the word intersect or 0, like maybe you just didn't think about, you know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be like you write out exactly what you type in your calculator, but something to show that, because not all of those questions are calculator problems. I mean, I know they're in the calculator section, so the ones that need corrections need to be corrected, and the ones that you were able to figure it out with your calculator, just give me a quick 1 or 2 words so I know what went wrong.
And then,
Yeah.
you said there are 4, and you're sending out like a 5th one?
I think there are 3 posted optional exams in your exam folder, AP practice. It says optional like this, this, and this. Those are the bonus ones, and then I'm emailing. And that's going to be last year's mock BC exam. So the practice exam from the College Board with the changes for BC. So some of them will be AB stuff.
But will you get bonus points for each one you do, or of the 5, or of the 4?
Oh, okay. So I didn't make a big deal of it this year because it was from last year. The bonus exams are worth 4 points in your test quiz category for every bonus exam you do.
Alright, so for each one you do.
Yeah. But it has to be the full exam. It doesn't need to be corrected. It needs to be graded. You don't have to have corrections written out in the whole shebang, but it needs to be taken and graded. A, B, and FRQs 1 through 6.
If you only did +1, would you like half of them?
Sure, I can give you +2. I don't mind. But I would encourage you to work on FRQs too. Are we good? All right, I'm ready. Yeah, sure. You know where to find them, yeah. Just in the top of my drawer. Okay, as we go ahead and transition, now we are into FRQs. I want to start with 2013 FRQs because there aren't videos for them. If there are any places where you have questions, the wording, the thinking through of the answering, et cetera, et cetera. So starting at number 3, 2013. Sorry, that's over here. I'm just going to go FRQ by FRQ. I think it's simpler. Are there any parts to number 3, 2013 you guys want to ask questions on? Going once. We're just going to go in order. Number 3, 2013. Any parts that we have questions on? How many of you guys that took it scored a 9 out of 9 the first time? 8 out of 9? 7 out of 9? 6 out of 9? 5 out of 9? 4? 3? 2, 1. Okay, so half of you have not done it or graded it. One of the combination. Okay, so we have some work to do. All right, so for those of you guys who did number 3, no questions on it. Going once, going twice. Sold. You're welcome, Ben. Number 4. I talked about a lot of logistics. Maybe just peek at or ask them about the calendar to catch up. Number 4, any questions? We're on 2013 because there are no videos. Yeah, C. Okay, let me check out the given real quick, Amy. So we're given f of x is equal to, that's not very much given. Go team. All right, so f of x equals x e to the, all right. How many of you guys on number 4 tried to do integration by parts the first time? Yeah. But, no, but this is what they were planning on. Letter B, they were like that. They made a whole FRQ one simple function, right? Now, you should have corrected it and been like u sub. Oh my goodness, u is negative x squared, du is 2x. Always try u sub first. But then letter C, which is where Amy is, letter C was like, no, we're going to force you to do integration by parts, but you didn't need it for B. Actually, you couldn't use it for B. You need it for C. Kyle.
For C, if we couldn't figure out what parts we need, but we showed that we attempted integration parts, we get some points for that?
That's a great question. I don't have this answer key memorized. I mean, I used it to grade, so I remember the question, but hold on. But I think you get a point for trying integration by parts? Yeah, I'd say you would get one of the 2 points for trying the integration by parts, but if you didn't have it fully set up.
Okay.
Might you have gotten both?
Like, if you didn't get the parts correctly?
Well, I think if you weren't able to fill in the parts, you would have gotten 1. You would have gotten 1.
Okay.
That's my guess. Okay, so let me come back. Kiddos, I'm actually going to ask for your help really quickly, assuming that we can do number 4 with u sub. Kiddos, help me out. Shh. For letter C, you do need letter B to some extent, and I'll show that in just a second. The first thing that you have to see is 0 to infinity of x times x e to the negative x squared. Make sure I wrote that right. That's f, right? X e to the negative x squared. Okay. As you guys are doing this, please be careful of your notation. Be careful of the limit as b goes to infinity, 0 to b. Be careful of your dx that you're writing it, right? Who's knocking?
just do it? Is it okay if I borrow a calculator?
All of Miss Sutherland's like 20 calculators I gave at the end of the year are all missing. Miss Sutherland's.
Oh, thanks,
You
miss.
guys are going to be very careful. Turn it in before you
Yes.
leave the
Of
classroom.
course, Miss Davis.
All right. Okay, coming back. Kiddos, what I need you to see, without going all the way through letter B, is that you solved this one in letter B, and you should have been able to with plain old U sub. So help me out real quick. From letter B, what did you guys get as the integral? Was it just the indefinite integral for letter B? I think so, right?
Yeah.
Of x e to the negative x squared dx. What did you guys get?
Negative 1/2 e to the negative x squared plus.
Perfect. So they are forcing your hand on integration by parts. In that, they gave you an extra x. So u sub is no longer, bless you, u sub is no longer able to, bless you, to totally solve. So therefore, a lot of you guys would have probably naturally put the x squared over here and then thought u sub. But the problem is, in order to integrate e to the negative x squared, I need the x in there. They set you up perfectly. They lobbed you a soft one if you understood it. Because when you were solving letter B, you were actually getting the v, so that way you could go ahead and negative 1/2 e to the negative x squared. Solve this with integration by parts. Yeah.
Our suggestion, of course, I think if you don't understand which part you just like integrate basic x or try to integrate the parts of that to see the pattern or include.
Integrate the xf of x.
Like don't plug in or x to the e with negative x squared at first.
Okay, so what Kyle's trying to say is just a word of advice. He's saying, as you guys look at this, now the problem is, Kyle, if someone didn't understand how to solve B and they used integration by parts, I don't know if that clue would have helped. But as far as the dilemma of putting the x squared together and thinking you need integration by parts for the x squared, I do totally agree with you that as you look here, being like, well, wait a minute, if I was able to solve this in B and now there's an extra x, it would make sense u and dv, like from the get-go before plugging in. So then as we go ahead and plug in, now guys, it's totally possible because now we have our uv. Please, please, please don't simplify. Please, please, please don't simplify. We have the integral negative of our negative e to the negative x squared. Technically, don't we still have this 0 to infinity thing that we have to worry about? But with this 0 to infinity thing, we're going to pull out that negative 1/2. Now we have the integral of e to the negative x squared. Guys, what was that clue all about? But here's the dilemma. I am going to plug in square root of pi over 2 for the 0 to b, right? The limit as b goes to infinity. But don't I also need 0 to b over here, right? So you'd have to be really careful in your notation as to how you're showing it, so that you technically have 0 to b over here as well. Well, here's the problem. If you put in equals, it needs to be equivalent. So the other option, I mean, at some point you have to plug in the root pi over 2, but you can't plug it in unless you have the notation. So I would think you would need to, yeah? Otherwise, technically, you'd be incorrect with your notation. So now that I have all of this, now I can go ahead and plug in my root pi over 2. I can go ahead and plug in my b and plug in my 0. When I plug in my 0, everything is just going to be 0 there. When I plug in my b, I'm going to have over e to the b, and as I go to infinity, the bottom's going to win. That's going to be, isn't this whole thing 0, I think? So you end up with 1/2 times root pi over 2, I believe. Does that match up with what you guys got? 100%. But pause. Pause. How many of you guys did not get that on your own the first time? Look around. It's not just you. Okay, it's not just you. But do you see it was just an integration by parts? Right, that's the hard part. But check it. Don't be discouraged by that, because just think, are they going to try and trick you by putting U sub on the test that'll make you think integration by parts first? Yes. So train your brain to say, try U sub, plain old U sub first. There are A-B questions on the test. Try U sub. If it doesn't work, then go integration by parts. Okay, I'm ready for another question. That was a great one. Thanks, Amy. Jason.
Instead of plugging in x into the negative x squared, and you left that as f of x.
Yes. And then you
all
used
this,
B.
but didn't get the answer. Would they still give you points for that?
Well, the problem is you couldn't have filled that in, though.
Well, no, because you could use like a capital F too to sort of say like.
Oh, they might have given you the 2 points for the integration by parts, but definitely not the answer. But they might have given you the 2 points for the integration by parts. And I mean, technically, if you solved B wrong, and yet you plugged in the wrong V from B, you couldn't have kept it general. There's no way they would have given that to you. But if you had plugged in the wrong B for V and used it that way, I think they could have given you even all points if you used it correctly. Yeah. That's that whole number. You can take a wrong and use it in another part, and then if you use it correctly, they can give you the points for it. Okay, kiddos, those of you that came in late, I'm on 2013 because there are no videos for 2013 going to specific questions. The specific question on this one was number 4C. Any other questions on 4? 5? Yeah.
C.
Okay. Number 5, let's check out our givens. Accumulator function, right? Accumulator function. Accumulator functions, looking really quickly at them. Remember, if we're trying to find G of, we're plugging in a bound and we're thinking area. Hold on, pause, kiddos, just to make sure we're moving correctly. If we go backward on the bound, with my sign of the area, if we go backwards, so like from -2 to -6, you have to flip the sign. It's opposite. If you go forwards, anything above is positive, anything below is negative, right? If you go backwards, everything's opposite. That's area. That's plugging into an accumulator. If I need a derivative of an accumulator, what forever endeavor am I thinking of? FTC part 2. But does it make sense? The derivative of the integral f of u times u prime. Are we good? Okay. And then you're just finding the y values. Letter C is where it gets interesting, and D. But the wording is all there, everything that you need. Letter C says horizontal tangent. Now, pause. You have to think of the subject. G's horizontal tangent. Use your forever cards. Isn't that when G prime equals 0? And isn't G prime F?
Yes.
So the zeros of F are going to, check it, happen at, I think, -6, -2, and 2. But why am I crossing off -6? It's an open interval. So you guys help me. How do I, now that I have taken the zeros of F, which is G prime, the zeros, the x-intercepts, how do I now analyze for local extrema?
Check the points before and after, so the sign changes the extrema.
The sign change is of the y values, not the slopes, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to look right before the 0, right after the 0, and ask myself, is F, which is G prime, is it above, indicating a positive value, or below? Alan?
Are they asking for the values, not the axis?
Well, it starts with values, but then doesn't it say determine?
Yeah.
Oh, check it. I love that you caught the value, but check it. Value of, there you go. So you're right. When they say what is the value, sometimes, usually they mean the y values, but if they say x, you've got to go with it. Okay, they can use values for x's or y's. If they say value of x, it's an x. If they just say value of the function or the function value, then it's your y's.
How come you think
Oh, because it's in between. I just can't do the endpoint. So -6 was canceled out, but -2 and 2 are technically, according to the graph, I believe, they're both zeros. But at -2, since we're thinking the signs before and after of f, which is G prime, f before is positive, f after is positive. Remember the y values. So positive to positive, this is going to be a neither, because what would be your actual explanation? Don't say it. What?
the sign of
The sign of f, and you could say f equals G prime. But the sign of f does not change. That's good. Or f goes from positive to positive. Or you could say g goes from increasing to increasing, but most of you would not jump there. So f goes from positive to positive, or f does not have a sign change. That's good. Or g prime equals f does not have a sign change. Now pause. What's going on at 2? What positive to negative? The sign of f changes from positive to negative. You don't even have to state anything else. There is what at that point? A relative max, right? You could also say g changes from increasing to decreasing as indicated by, but you don't have to put all that. F changes signs from positive to negative. So g prime is positive to negative, so g is increasing to decreasing, so a relative max. Just be very careful at how you put your wording. Corey? No. First derivative test? No. They know calculus, so you just give the, since this is true, and they're like, yeah, that's true. Does that make sense? Yeah. But don't use it. Don't use it. But it's so easy to do. I use it. Have you guys noticed, like, throughout the year, I say it, and I'm like, oh, the function, or the derivative, or the, I always catch myself. Oh, F's. I just say the sign of F. It's easier. Hold on, John, you also asked about letter D, though, right? Letter D was asking for points of inflection. So points of inflection, we're thinking about G double prime, right, guys? Yeah. Okay, so hold on. Look at that accumulator. G values. You put in the bound, you think of area. G prime, FTC part 2. Take the derivative of the integral, you get F. G double prime. Our forever card says, I'm not even looking at the graph. I'm not even caring about the accumulator. I'm just saying, I know points of inflection. Points of inflection. This is me, my little like nerdy self, up here quoting a forever card. Points of inflection occur when G double prime changes signs at, no, zeros or DNEs, good, of G double prime. G prime would be critical numbers. That'd be relative mins, maxes. Okay, so what have I done so far? Stated. I'm going to say which occur at. Which occurs at. Ready? All I need to do is fill in and I'm done. And I haven't even looked at the graph or looked at the function. And I've gotten my point for justification. Does that make sense? So now I have to go think about, okay, fine, well, G double prime. Well, G double prime, hold on, G prime was equal to F, right? If G prime is equal to F, how do I take a derivative? Oh, and if I have a graph of F, aren't these going to be the slopes? So look at the slopes, the increasing, decreasing nature of your graph. Look at your slopes. Where do the slopes change signs? AKA, where does F change from increasing to decreasing or decreasing to increasing? Where?
At -4.
0? Because the slopes change signs at -4, change signs at -2, and change signs at 0. And you have a 0 at 0, right? The slope is 0. At the other two, I think they're sharp points, both of them. But I'm not saying specifically, I'm just saying changes signs at zeros or DNEs, and yay, yay, yay. Done. Are we okay? Okay. Oh, it's so easy. You got to include the sharp points. Just think relative mins and maxes of a first derivative will get you points of inflection. Just be careful as to how you word it. Guys, any questions on number 6, 2013? Yeah, Gabby. D?
Actually, yeah, C and D.
Okay. Number 6, what's my given? What's going on? Taylor!
There was no Lagrange also.
There was no Lagrange, not math for Q's of this one. Now, hold on. Hold on. Some of your brains, I need your brains to be ready for these. Corey, I'm going to use you as an example if that's okay. Yesterday, he came up to me, or maybe it was, I don't know, and he asked about A, or something like A, wasn't it?
I don't remember, that's what all of it.
He asked about a tangent line. And I showed him, I was like, tangent line. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. He's like, wait, what? I saw Taylor and I just tuned out. Okay. We can, no, some of you are so the same as him. You're like, Taylor McLaren, I don't know what I'm doing. Lagrange, even worse. You can do it.
Why is that so
You can do it. Okay? Don't tune out. Use your forevers endeavors. They're going to be helpful. For instance, on a tangent line, you have a point. You have an x. You have a y. Derivative. You have a derivative. Plug it in. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, but Gabby's question wasn't on A or on B. It was on C and D. So you guys, you need to help me out. You need to help me out because I'm not going to see this in a second. I need to use it, okay? Be ready to help me out. Letter C. Letter. Fourth degree Taylor polynomial. Hey, can't we automatically say exactly what's going on?
Yeah.
It's about 0. Isn't that just going to be x?
Yeah.
What's going to be next?
F double prime of 0.
All over?
X squared. X squared. Yeah. Then 3 x plus that. And no dot dot dot. Sorry.
No dot dot dots because
X.
polynomial, not series. You got to stop fourth. Yeah.
Do you have to label it as polynomial, or can you just put an either term?
Technically, I'm not putting either because I don't really want to mess myself up. But yes, you could have put.
So if you leave it just like that, we fine.
You could put not of 0. Sorry, of x.
So we can leave like that.
Well, it said find it, and I'm like, hey, there it is. Yay. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, I just want to avoid.
That's okay. Just no dot dot dots. No dot dot dots. But if you guys were labeling it, the proper way would be p sub 4 of x. Alan.
So you don't have to plug in any of the.
Oh, I haven't finished. This is just the setup. I was just like, hey, fourth degree, always this. Cool. They told me f of 0 is 2. F prime of 0, you should have already found in letter something. It's 3. Good. F double prime, you should have taken the derivative of the derivative and plugged in and gotten 4. Ironically, if you took the triple prime, which you needed, I think, for the last problem.
Yeah. The fourth one. Yeah. It's
If you did the third, if you did the fourth, all of them are going to be the second derivative. All of them are just going to be 4. But you had to keep taking that derivative. You had to keep taking that derivative and realize, oh, it's just going to be 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Oh. Now, letter D, Gabby, from that, if you were able to figure out the 4, 4, 4, 4, 4 thing, check it. Find the nth derivative of 0. Well, we just figured out the nth derivative, as long as it's greater than or equal to 2, will always be 4. But that was by taking the derivative, Gabby, and then seeing the pattern. Does that make sense? Hold on, pause. Someone read to me what the derivative was. F prime of x is equal to what again?
f of x plus 1.
Okay. The second derivative would have been
F of x plus 1. But that's f of x plus x.
F triple prime would have been,
F double prime. That's it.
and then why we're saying that's it is because as you keep on going, all of them are going to just be. Does that make sense? Because this is 4, then that's 4. This is 4, then that's 4. Then that's 4. So they're all going to be 4, which is why I'm able to say the nth derivative of 0 is 4. Shh, whisper. Use the Taylor series. Taylor series? I thought we were using a Taylor polynomial for f about x equals 0 and the Taylor series for e to the x to find the polynomial expression for. Now, don't we have the beginnings of f right up above? Now, careful. It said series. True. Can you guys double check your work? You did series, right? It said series, not polynomial. Pause. Did you put a dot, dot, dot? If you didn't put a dot, 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 you lost points. That's f of x. Now, e to the x. Hold on. Times 4 and times a negative. Can I jump there? E to the x is 1 plus x. But I'm multiplying by, here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do negative 4. 1, is that okay? Plus x squared over 2 factorial plus x cubed over 3 factorial plus, doesn't tell me how many terms. So I'm going to end up with this negative 4 e to the x being negative 4 minus 4x squared over 2 factorial minus 4x cubed all over 3 factorial. I need to put these two together, right? I need to put this one together with that one. I already put the negative in, so I'm just adding the 2. So as I add the 2, what combines?
2 plus 3x minus 4 minus 4. That's it. Everything else cancels.
Well, okay. 2 minus 4 will be negative 2. The 3x minus 4x is negative x. The 4 over 2 and the oh. All that's left is this guy. All that's left is that guy. Lucy. No, not all. I would say one of your checks just got crossed out. Carolyn. You totally don't have to simplify. You totally don't have to simplify. I would advise you don't. If you have factorials in all of them, you can match it up and be fine. Okay. Any other questions? Well, that finishes number 6. This is 2013. Any other questions on 2013?
Can you just like combine the 2 in this box? Whole thing?
Oh, you mean stop?
Yeah, it's just box whole thing right here.
Here's the dilemma. It says a polynomial expression, and you just put 2 series together. I don't think they would count that. I like the creativity, and I like to stick it to the manness. The only problem is without you showing the understanding of the dot, dot, dots canceling out, you're not giving a polynomial expression. Yeah, Noah.
Okay. How about
Go ahead.
2 plus 3x minus 4 minus 4x?
Totally fine. Oh, totally fine. Oh, yeah. Totally fine. And I apologize. I should not have done that. You're totally right. I've been preaching one thing and then doing something else. So I apologize for the hypocrisy. I should have totally done this. I agree. I agree. It's totally fine. Okay, 2017. Any clarifications whether the video explanation was a little off, was a little funny, was a little weird, was a little incorrect? Any clarification as far as problems, work, or video corrections? We're totally okay. Okay, help me out then. Where are your FRQ weaknesses? We're going to do FRQs next week. Those of you guys that are going to be in class on Monday, I'm collecting your in-class. Unless you're not here, then you're giving it to me by the end of the day on Monday. For psych or for chem. You can give it to me before school, after school, in between. I'm going to be taking your mock exams, checking all the corrections. Additional practice exams, checking that you did it, you graded it, and you should have corrected some of it because we were doing so many questions in class, or I was available. You're working on last year's FRQs, so we're trying to prepare for FRQs specifically. You have 3 additional optional bonus exams due next Monday. I'm emailing you the mock AP BC from last year, their Saturday mock AP, because it's the new format. So that's the only other practice exam out there, the new format, or not the new format. Yeah, it's a little bit new. But where are your FRQ weaknesses? Kyle. Okay. Integration by parts versus USEB because they can make it look funny. No. Yeah, yeah, Lagrange airbound. Yeah. What else?
Anything having to do with Taylor-Maclaurin series.
Okay. Taylor-Maclaurin. What else? Amy? Polar area, probably, but maybe derivatives too. And okay, polar. Jonathan.
Yeah, same.
What do you say? I still can't do the water tank, but... Thank you.
The answers are on the AB folder. There you go. No. I don't think we did that one last year. I think it was bonus. And this year it was required. And they actually did really well. They did really well after doing that packet, I think. What else? Corey?
The
Logistics stuff. Knowing how to work with differential equations versus the Leibniz-Licht. Probably answering questions. Manipulate it in order to... Okay. Brendan?
The bounds of the whole area. Oh, yeah.
That's a good call. That's probably a part. Okay. What? Oh, yeah. Alan?
Interval convergence.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Testing the endpoints.
That.
The n plus first. Well, hold on. Interval of convergence, let's talk about that. There's 2 different ways of doing it, right? Either it's geometric, and we find the ratio put in between 1 and -1, or it's not geometric and we have to use the n plus first over the nth. Kiddos, why am I having you say this out loud? Well, number one, to feel better about life, because how many people would say something and everyone else is like, yeah, me too. I feel you. Okay, we can empathize with each other. We're all in the same boat, and a lot of our weaknesses are other people's weaknesses. Second of all, do you notice that everything but one were BC topics? Now, some of you, I think, should have said, I'm bad at interpreting. I'm bad at justifying. I'm bad at writing everything so they don't take away points. You can add justifying.
Having to do with justify or explain.
Okay. Hey. Can anybody raise a hand if they're like, I'm bad at trying to simplify things just naturally and I get things wrong? Okay. Yeah. We got to stop the simplifying if we don't need to. Come back. What is due next Thursday? The when you see, you think. Are some of these topics in there? Now, some of you are like, well, I just like threw in something. I was like, forever card. Okay. Should you dig into that a little deeper and realize that for every topic you just said, you can Google calculus AP practice on. Teachers have made like PDFs. There's a huge, I have an AP Calc problem book that has thousands of calculus problems. Now, they're not all AP problems, but problems on the concepts. Some multiple choice. But you can find actual AP. Teachers have like of all the different Taylor and the McLaren or the Lagrange airbound. I did that with Noah the other day. He came in, needed a question, and I Googled it, right? And I found a question, like a multiple choice. You can do that with polar areas. You can, wait. Do you realize that someone's gone through and cataloged all the different FRQs and all the different topics that are covered? So if you want a Lagrange, you can go to 2007, number 2, letter C. Like, I just made that up. I have no idea if that's right or not. But like they've cataloged by the categories. So if you need to dig into some of these concepts, there are all the resources that you need. Now next week we're going to be doing FRQs. We're going to be some of these different concepts. But what do I need? I need you guys to have the mock AP fully corrected. I need you guys to have the additional one fully tried and hopefully fully corrected as well. And I need you guys to dig into that when you see, you think and say, I am weak on this. I'm going to dig into it and try to give myself some pointers that I need personally. Because I can't personally tutor each of you as far as your weaknesses for the AP. Does that make sense? But I can say, hey, I have lots of resources like the related rates packet. Here you go. It's fun. The answer key is online underneath the AB laying the foundation folder. So I can do that. So if you need it, email me and be like, I need this. I can go look for it too. But I think you should start with the when you see, you think, and dig in deeper. Does that make sense? Okay. With that, kiddos, I think we still have like, what, 4 minutes left? Yay! Something like that. I don't want to waste your time as far as just being like, okay, let's just sit and talk for 4 minutes, although we totally could. So to that end, let's go ahead and, hold on. There is a great, I hope I can find it. There is a great, there's one specific one I'm thinking of that was nasty as far as the bounds. I saw it in a workshop. I don't have the year right off the top of my head. Maybe? Let me see if I can find it real quick. What? What? Yeah. Yeah, let me see. About the grading?
Because I have 4 checks, but I only got 3.
Ooh. Is that worth 5?
Because I counted up all of them. Because the last one's worth.
Kiddos, I want you to see if this is it. This is it or the next one's it. I think one of them is. I don't remember which one. I want you to try to get it in your calculator and just think about the bounds. Just think about the bounds. Get it in your calculator, just think about the bounds. Let me freeze.
It's a fat rose.
Who says it's a rose? It might be a lemniscate. I didn't even look at it though.
We did this problem. I did this problem. Wait, what?
We did?
I did. Oh, I don't remember.
And there's also,
No, I didn't.
cross the sort of phone thing.
Oh, this is 2013.
Thanks.
You cross that part two.
Wait.
You start at 0, so part two. Then you change from top to bottom.
Yeah.
This is terrible.
I didn't see him. Yeah, you're right. You have 4 out of 9.
Don't you have to switch the bounce though for that?
What was your score?
When you get past 5 or 2.
Is it a low 4? 5? You got a 5, right?
64.
Oh, but you got a high 4. Okay.
You know who's coming to the game? Big boy Bill Reeves got 100%.
Oh, he is?
You were 1 point off, right?
Yeah.
Look at you go.
Got my 1 point.
Yeah, you did.
But there's only one Bill. Oh, you can find the intersection.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Do you still need this?
No, you're good. Katrina, did you find one of those? Did you find one of those? Aw.